it ain't about publicity. It ain't about anything else. It's about giving this kid the opportunity. He sees something of him in Jameson Williams.
I think that part of Calvin Johnson goes less noticed. He wants this team to win.
Maybe there's something already in the works. The osmosis of greatness that can just pour off these guys being around. That's the bare minimum.
Calvin Johnson, though, in the news a little bit, though, said that he's willing to mentor Jameson Williams. Mm-hmm. And for me, that is a very simple thing. Now, obviously, it's up to Calvin, with what Calvin wants to do. But you're around Calvin a good deal, D-Mac. And I know you guys talk business and stuff like that. And you're not, breaking down playing days. It's interesting to me that through the transgressions or the problems or however it is to be described that Calvin had with the front office of the Lions, it's interesting to me, him, Barry, all these guys, he is always around still. Always.
He
loves the team. He
loves the team, loves the guys, loves the city, loves the fans.
Right.
Same as what Barry did and had to figure out where the separation is. So the fact that there's nothing more that I know for a fact, and I'm not speaking out of turn, that one of the bit disappointing things was the fact that he was not able to bring, playoff success or championships here. So he's going to do whatever he can and whatever he's asked. The one thing with Calvin is which is great to see when you ask him these questions, so you put it out there because, let's just say maybe he's not like Darren McCarty in the fact that you're going to know, like it or not, how he feels or what he wants to do and stuff like this, is that you have to ask him these questions. But the fact is that he cares. He cares way more than people maybe ever give him credit for.
Yeah, and that's it right there.
Because
that's
I tell you how much I care, and everybody else tells you how much I care and whatever like this. And it goes back to the whole thing. I could say both Barry, being around him as much as I am, and Calvin are very proud to be Detroit Lions. Doesn't mean they're proud of not being able to win, but that's different because they live here. They decide to do business here. They decide to stay here. So this team getting forward, and the fact that this tells me more because I look at it like me. When would I be willing, or when am I willing, to mentor or give knowledge if it came down to, the Red Wings? Now, I'm not going to help you with things on the ice, but the things off the ice and the things mentally to prepare and to think throughout the game, I can give you perspective on that. So as the team gets better, you as a former athlete for your team that you've blood, sweat, and tears for, that you had that love in the locker room, forget about the front office. Right? That's like family. That's like your parents. You're not always going to agree, right? But as long as you're working towards some sort of goal, but it's about the guys in the locker room and stuff like this. So what I like to hear is Calvin's willingness. So hopefully they do reach out in whatever reason it is, but it ain't about publicity. It ain't about anything else. It's about giving this kid the opportunity. And the final thing is with Calvin saying that, because Calvin sees something. Right? He sees something of him in Jameson Williams, and maybe he can help him avoid along the way some of the injuries or some of the things that were unnecessary, and give him that ear. So, it's a win-win all around, and I think that you see that more. So, hopefully that the parents will come right and make Calvin. Whatever that relationship is, whether it's just the money or anything else, but the fact that he's talking about it, Neil, is a great thing. Because I'll tell you this right now, man loves this city, you people, the fans that cheered him all the time, and this team and what they're doing.
It's the exact opposite of Peter Forsberg, who hates all of you people.
Absolutely.
Calvin Johnson hates you.
Loves you to death as much as Darren McCarty loves you. Peter Forsberg, Patrick Waugh, they hate your guts. They hate you. And you should be proud.
Calvin is willing to mentor Jameson Williams. And look, I want to see this happen. And for me, it's just one of those things where I think we forget with Calvin. it just, to me, and I don't have any inside knowledge of this. D-Mac is more familiar with Calvin than I am. He's a friend of the show. When someone comes on the show, you can call him a friend of the show.
For sure.
He's been on the show before, but D-Mac obviously does business dealings with them and all that kind of stuff. I think Calvin, even through his greatness and being in the Hall of Fame, I think that part of Calvin Johnson goes less noticed. He wants this team to win.
Yeah.
Period.
It's one of those things that, and I can only relate it back to, for us guys, even with the championships, right? Like, we're sitting here with Stanley Cups. We want this ship, the Red Wings, to get back, but we're more excited for this next journey. That's the whole thing for me. With the Unrivaled and the history and the Lemieux and 25 years and stuff, is that all the 5-year-olds have grown up and are now 30. Everybody, and even like I get the teenage kids coming up to understand, the gravity of what we're dealing with. Well, it's the same thing, and so for the Red Wings to get back to the glory years and win another cup, I would be the most excited and happiest for this group, but also this fan base that hasn't been around to experience. I believe Calvin's the same way, that if they couldn't do it, he's going to do everything in his ability, if asked or put together. And I got to think that maybe there's something already in the works. You know what I'm saying?
You
like
would think.
Well, just conversations. And where does it start? Right? Where does the conversation start? Probably with Dan Campbell. To Calvin, approaching Calvin. And that's where it is. What was I telling you about earlier today? I'll let you in behind it, right? I would never, as Steve Yzerman's biatch, right? I would never, ever want to make a good play or do something or whatever, and him to stand up and go, D-Mac, great play. Because if he did that where everybody else could hear, I knew that the other shoe was following, usually with the backhanded compliment. Yeah, but you stupid idiot. You know what I mean? If you would have
Right.
done that first or gave it to me, then we wouldn't.
You don't want that attention.
No, I don't want that attention. Whereas if he's giving it to some other guys where it's not that way. But if he wanted to give me that accolade, if he wanted to show me, right? You know what he'd do? Beside me, Neil, is he'd give me a bump or give me a tap or give me a look or whatever like this. That's all I needed. I'm hoping that's, from what I'm hearing from Calvin being asked that's what's happened. Dan Campbell might have had that conversation. Or it was Brad Holmes. I don't think it's the parents and saying the organization. I think there's still some bitterness with the money issue, but it goes to show you sometimes things aren't all about money when it comes to the players' side. And to me, when you see a Hall of Famer and a guy that's been here, and you see Barry around more too, is that how the osmosis of greatness that can just pour off these guys being around. That's the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum, and then actually like being in his ear out there working with him, like that would be interesting if you see some videos sometime of them chatting on the field or catching balls or just whatever it is. And I don't really care if he tells them anything to do with that play on the field, because I think it's the stuff off the field, and I think it's the stuff about staying healthy and being healthy, and Well, that's a great segue to what I wanted to ask you, D-Mac, because I would assume you've done this from time to time throughout your years, where you're hanging out at Wings practice or something like that, and like a Bertuzzi or somebody, a younger guy that's on the roster and stuff like that. When you're there, what is a mentoring? Have you done that in the past? Well, you know
to
what? Most of that stuff is we like to go to Grand Rapids and get the kids a little bit, younger or introduce or stuff like this. But being around, right? Like just you'll have conversations. I mean, just even that's why I always like talking with Dylan, because it's more about the culture and about the area and about this. Like he knows so much the lineage of what he's got to do. It's just making him comfortable to know that he doesn't have to do it alone, right? I can't help him on the ice, but it's just like to know that we're all behind him and support him and stuff like this. So I think it's just, and here's the thing too, Neil, there hasn't been, and you know what, like for me, I don't want to be around. But I mentioned to somebody yesterday, like I'm starting to be around more. I do the game day lives and be down there.
Are there some similarities with the way you perceive Calvin being around this team to the way you have now? And you've documented this on the show. You've said now things are run a little differently,
Things are a little bit different, and you're always, it's the same thing. I'm always willing to help or willing to talk or whatever like this, like the conversations that maybe I've had with Giovanni Smith, and you got to understand the game's changed, but it's also too is I could talk. So a lot of the guys like the Philip Aronics, the guys that have come up through Grand Rapids, the guys that have been around for a few years. So a lot of the younger guys, not so much, but getting to meet them and getting to know them and being around, it's the same thing as I look at it. You want to be the influence like Ted Lindsay around our dressing room all the time. Now I'm not going to be in the back room working out and stuff like that, but to float in and out and have conversations, it's always cool to run into these guys. And as they get better and as this clock runs out, I think it becomes more imperative because there's a dog in the fight, right? You have a dog in the fight,
right?
So I think that comparable. I think there's no animosity. Like we don't have the differences. There's nothing between the parents and I get along great.
And Neil, yesterday, why I said that was because D-Mac said in Grand Rapids they used to call him Gray Bush.
Yeah. Old Gray Bush, baby. Old Gray Bush. Hey,
accurate.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it was.
First thing you can do before you get mad.